When you were living life as a Christian, would you say you had more hope? I can't remember if you had ever had depression, but what are your thoughts on depression within or without Christianity? That is a absolutely fantastic question. So when I was a Christian, I would say yes, I had more hope, but my question is, was it false hope? Even the Bible talks about hope deferred makes the heart grow sick. So, in that situation, if I falsely believed, then it was a false hope. Falsely believe in my book, I didn't even believe. It was just faith and secondhand revelation that I really had. I didn't have any firsthand experience or revelation that God existed. And when I realized that, I was like, wow, I don't believe in God, and maybe none of this is real, and all that kind of stuff. So yes, I have struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts. Funny enough, all of that depression and suicidal thoughts happened when I was Christian. And then literally within, I don't know, like a couple months of realizing maybe God doesn't exist. Maybe, I don't think I believe in God, all that kind of stuff. A couple months afterward, and I talked about it in the video where I said how to overcome suicidal thoughts. That realization happened after I was like, maybe I don't think God exists. And so, I have struggled with panic and anxiety and some depression. But the suicidal thoughts, like the darkest of darkest times where I was thinking about taking my own life, that happened while I was a Christian. But you're saying, but how are thoughts on depression within or without Christianity? With Christianity, honestly, I'd pray a lot. I'd ask God, where are you? That kind of thing. Without Christianity, I've learned to walk on my own 2 feet, which I think a lot of people need to learn how to do. And I've learned to actually, this is happening to me because I feel like when I was a Christian and I was going through those intense moments of fear, I would only face it. I would never accept it. I would never surrender to it. I would never, let it take, because there's, the only thing to fear is fear itself, right? And so if you don't let that fear hit you, then you'll never overcome it. And so when I was a Christian and I felt this depression, which all that stems from fear. And so when I was a Christian, I was unwilling to even face them. But when, maybe God isn't real, then it was like prayer wasn't an option. So I was like, I need to learn how to deal with my shit. I need to learn how to deal with this stuff. And so it was from there that honestly, the fear and the panic got a whole lot worse. And so I know that contradicts what I just said, but it got a whole lot worse because this is when I got chronic Lyme disease. This is when I was going through a whole bunch of stuff relationally, financially, a whole bunch of other stuff piled on it. So it wasn't just because I didn't believe in God anymore. I was at a very rough place. And so when it did get a whole lot worse, I didn't have that, hand to cling to because I never felt it anyway. And so I was like, I need to learn how to deal with my fear. I need to learn how to actually stand on my own 2 feet and deal with this rather than pawning it off to somebody who, when I was thinking about taking my own life, obviously nobody showed up. I could have done it, but I didn't. And, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad that I'm here today. But it's just ironic that I started to really overcome depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, panic in the time that I've been living without God, I guess. And when I was with God, I guess, it was always prayer. It was always this. It was nothing like logical thinking. Like, what can I logically do? Like, how can I mentally prepare myself for when this kind of thing happens? So I've learned a lot more after the fact of I don't think I believe in God than I did when I was Christian, because when I was a Christian, it was all just prayer. It was all prayer, this, prayer, that. It was just me praying, really. And so, if God is real, then obviously that's a huge question for me. Why, when I was, thinking of taking my life, and there was a couple situations where a whole bunch of stuff happened in that time of my life. Why didn't he show up? Why didn't he come? Why do I have chronic Lyme disease? I've obviously prayed, like, if you're real, take this away from me. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. But I can't be in a place to where, and I'm sure maybe if I was a Christian, maybe I'd be praying every single night, God, take this away from me. God, deliver me from this place. But like, I have had to learn to stand on my own 2 feet. And even if God is real, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think this is a bad thing that I'm learning to actually live life for me and how to overcome these things. I think if God is real, I think that might have been how he designed it all along. And he's meant for us to go on this dark night of the soul and this journey of faith to learn how to walk on our own 2 feet. And once we learn how to walk on our own 2 feet, then we can walk with him instead of just being these babes. And I talked about all that in a video I made on the dark night of the soul and faith and stuff. But and that's just if all that's real, hypothetically, kind of thing, to where it could be. But hopefully that answers your question. And so it's a really interesting topic to talk about. But yeah, the difference between the two of like with God after me, not being skeptical, doubtful, all that kind of stuff. It's night and day with the depression and anxiety thing. Yeah.